Now, Hillary Clinton continues to raise millions of dollars from corporations, interests, and wealthy donors. In fact, I'm going to give you a list of her top 5 donors in 2016. They are Paloma Partners, $11 million, Saban Capital Group. Some of you might be familiar with that name. That is, of course, owned by, I'm not sure how to say his name, Haim Saban, who is the owner of Univision, by the way. He gave $10 million. Renaissance Technologies, $9 million, $9.5 million, I should say. The Pritzker Group, $8,323,000, and Soros Fund Management gave about $7 million. Now, those are her 5 biggest donors, right? Now, it might surprise you that perhaps later in the election, one of those 5 might be replaced by the oil industry. Interesting. Now, the oil industry, the fossil fuel industry, happens to be getting up there as a large donor. Now, according to a new Wall Street Journal analysis, Hillary Clinton has actually begun to raise at least twice as much money from the oil industry than Donald Trump. What is going on here? Well, let's get to some of that analysis. Now, as the latest fundraising cycle at the end of July, employees in the oil and gas sector had reportedly donated $525,000 to Clinton's campaign, compared with $149,000 to Trump's team. That is outside of the $470,000 that members of the industry gave to a fundraising account Trump holds with the Republican National Committee. But even that pales in comparison to Clinton's DNC account, which took in about $650,000. Taken together, they write, oil and gas donors have contributed roughly twice as much support to Mrs. Clinton's campaign as Mr. Trump's. Huh. Interesting. Twice as much money than Donald Trump, than the Republicans. Now, normally, oil and gas donors overwhelmingly go to Republicans or the Republican nominee. But this time, they're going to Clinton instead. And trust me, this is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Now, the journal's analysis, they continue, points to heavy hitters in the typically Republican stronghold of business, such as ExxonMobil, where employees have apparently made 175 donations consisting of $200 or more to the former Secretary of State. Only one such donation was made to the GOP nominee. According to the Wall Street Journal, in the meantime, members of the American Petroleum Institute, a major lobbying group for oil executives, also have yet to open up their wallets for Donald Trump. Now, that's amazing. These people are not giving to a guy who is their wet dream when you think about it. This guy doesn't believe in climate change. He thinks it's a hoax from the Chinese, right? He also promises, day one, let's rip up those Paris Accords, right? The Paris Agreement, gone, even though it's a non-binding agreement, to help try to, reduce the impact of climate change. No, don't care, gone. Fuck that. Clean environment, no, drill baby drill, bitches, drill baby drill. That's the Donald Trump plan. Remember, he wants to, quote, open up the oil. No, dude. Not only that, but he's going to, he's in favor of natural gas fracking, right? He's going to frack so much, your head will spin. Those are Donald Trump positions. He's all in for fossil fuels, baby. That's what he's in for, okay? But yet, this guy, who would do everything that they want and more, they're not funding him as much. They're giving twice as much to Hillary Clinton. Only in this election could we see something like that. That's amazing. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that they're not giving to Republicans. No, they're still giving to Republicans, right? In fact, other Republicans have continued to receive more money from the oil and gas industry, raising a collective 90% of the total $71 million in donations made so far. Of that, none of it's going to Trump. Okay, very, very little, I should say, is going to Trump. Now, I have an explanation why. Okay, why is this happening? Well, look, Hillary Clinton is still in favor of fracking, okay, and would likely continue or be a continuation of the Obama energy policy that continues to drill for oil. Now remember, oil production under Barack Obama, a Democrat, is actually higher than that than under George W. Bush. Barack Obama is the oil president, okay? Now, Hillary Clinton is the establishment. She's along the same vein as Obama. They both believe in the same things. And so Hillary Clinton would be a continuation of the Obama presidency. It would be a third term, essentially, right? That's actually good for the oil companies. They love that. Because, once again, we've got record production. But here's the other thing, right? Is that Donald Trump is also a disaster. One of his policy positions would be, I'm not going to pay the national debt. No. We're going to force them to negotiate with the national debt. And he would be willing to default on that. Now, that's a monumentally stupid idea. That would likely destroy the economy. It would be bad. It would be very bad. It would be tremendously bad. But that's his plan. That's what he wants to do. Now, let's default on the national debt. Well, actually, we can't because we can print money. What? No, dude, you don't understand how this works. This would be an absolute fucking disaster. But anyway. Now, given that choice between steady as we go establishment and, oh my God, you're going to fuck up the entire economy and cause a depression or a recession or maybe even a depression, and who knows what other consequences will happen. I guess we'll go with the establishment, right? We'll go with Hillary Clinton. That's what the oil companies are saying. This is why fossil fuel companies love Hillary Clinton. Yes, she will make some investment in solar, and that's fantastic. I'm in favor of that. That's a good policy position. 1 million solar panels. It's awesome. Can we get more? Now, maybe she'll also pass a couple of regulations and deny some drilling permits, okay? Okay, that's fair. But no serious move away from fossil fuels. And the oil companies will look at this and be like, well, we were doing pretty good under Obama. I guess we can handle Hillary Clinton. Okay, we would rather have a Republican that's a little bit more extreme on this issue, but not Donald Trump. We want somebody like a Mitt Romney or, somebody who will play nice with the oil companies, but not come out and be explicitly racist and xenophobic. That looks bad for us. That's bad for PR. We're already hated around the world or around the country. So let's not throw our support behind Donald Trump, because that's just bad, right? Now, they're going with her, and they're basically saying, I'm with her. We don't want to rock the boat. We're doing pretty good. Fair enough. Now, that doesn't mean that we should support Trump because the oil companies are against Trump, for the most part. No. Donald Trump's a disaster. And he would actually do worse for climate change. Which puts us in a bind, of course. But this is where we're at. Okay? This is why the Dallas Morning News, by the way, just endorsed their first Democratic candidate in 75 years. Now, the Dallas Morning News, for those who are unfamiliar with it, is actually considered to be very, very sensitive to the needs of the oil industry. Oh, oil industry, what are your needs? Help us report on what you need. We'll write a couple of nice op-eds for you. How's that sound, oil companies? They love that, right? Now, they write, we've been critical of Clinton's handling of certain issues in the past, but unlike Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton has experience in actual governance, a record of service, and a willingness to delve into real policy. Like, for example, her conditional support of fracking, which has a lot of conditions, by the way. Just saying. Now, they continue. Though conservatives like to paint her as nakedly partisan, on Capitol Hill, she gained respect from Republicans for working across the aisle. 2/3 of her bills had GOP co-sponsors and included common ground with some of Congress's most conservative lawmakers. Look, I'm not against bipartisanship, right? It can be good at times. However, at this point, with the amount of corruption in our system and money in politics, most of the time bipartisan just means we're going to get screwed from both sides. Keeping it real. And that's the fear of the Clinton presidency on the issue of climate change, which, look, it should be viewed, and it is, an existential threat. And to see the fossil fuel industry pouring so much money into the Democratic candidate is not a good sign if you care about the environment at all. Because look, money equals influence. Even if you're Hillary Clinton, and even if you're saying, no, that money doesn't influence me at all. Bullshit, there are actually proof. There's Elizabeth Warren coming out earlier and saying, hey, the bankruptcy bill, right, challenging her on that. She was against the bankruptcy bill, which would have helped out large banks. It was definitely a pro-bank piece of legislation. And she was against it before she was a senator. And then she got elected as a senator. Suddenly she flipped. Oh, yeah, that thing that I was against, that's massively pro-banker? Yeah, I'm now for it. Money, of course, influences you. And all of this fossil fuel money that's going to Hillary Clinton, if you don't think that's going to influence her, you don't know anything about politics. She's not a messiah, okay? She's not somebody that, no, that doesn't influence me, those millions and millions of dollars. The millions of dollars raised over her entire career. Not just this election cycle, but her entire career. No, it doesn't affect me at all. What are you talking about? No, that's insane. And to think that the oil companies won't have influence in a Hillary Clinton presidency? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. That's something that, look, the truth of it is, that is something, that level of influence and that level of corruption inside of our government that's systemic, it should continue to worry liberals and progressives. Maybe not as much as a Trump presidency, but I think it should worry them more than a Trump presidency. And that's where we're at.